Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Supper Time series brought to you by Music Mountain. Thank you for joining us on today's talk. My name is Rudy and I'll be your host for tonight's Supper Time talk. If you are watching this on replay, then I would like to say welcome to the show. Stay tuned because we got some interesting stuff to share with you guys. Now, at Music Mountain, we focus on a few things. Number one, providing insights on the music and media industry. Number two, we want to share experiences of personalities and also celebrities who have had their share of success. And number three, providing online music lessons through video on demand. This music lessons platform will launch somewhere this year, and I'm pretty excited because we're getting some of the best in the business to teach people how to play musical instruments. We aim to make learning music fun and easy for everyone while learning from the best talents in the industry. So stay tuned for more updates on our development. So tonight we are focusing on number one and number two, because in tonight's series, we have invited two speakers from the music and media industry to give insights on music and how it has evolved. Our first guest is, of course, Ahmad Izham Omar. Now, Ahmad Izham Omar is the CEO of Primeworks Studios, the content creation subsidiary of Media Prima Berhad. He was the former CEO of Media Prima Television Network, which included all four free-to-air television channels owned by the Malaysian media group, including TV3, NTV7, 8TV, and so on. A multi-award-winning music producer, arranger, songwriter, and musician, Izham's musical career started with the legendary Positive Tone record label in 1994, producing progressive music that captured the imagination of Malaysia. He first became well known by being associated with the vocal group Innuendo, which he popularized. His other feats also include launching a world-class video portal called Tonton, which was heralded as a breakthrough by the global industry, being awarded the Most Promising Entrepreneur Award by Enterprise Asia, being accepted as a delegate in the prestigious Asia Society 21 Young Leaders Summit, and recognized with a Lifetime Achievement Award by VIMA, Voice of Independent Music Awards, for his contribution to music. Hi, Izham. Welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks a lot. Hi, guys.
Yes, great. So next we have Pot. Pot Amir is from Innuendo, of course, one of Malaysia's premier R&B groups. They were formed in 1992 when a love for R&B and soul music brought Raimi, Sam, Touch, and Pot together. As a multi-award-winning group, Innuendo successfully reintroduced a cappella tunes to Malaysian audience after decades of being unheard on mainstream media. Innuendo is arguably best known for their remake of the Carefree's evergreen ballad Belayan Jiwa, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, hands down. Innuendo has won many AIM awards, including Song of the Year, Best Vocals by a Group, Best Engineered Album, Best New English Artist, Best Musical Arrangement, and Best English Album. Some more best lah, you know. That is amazing. So welcome, Pot, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. Just a little housekeeping before I get started, especially to our audiences on Facebook and YouTube. If you have any questions during the talk, please type them into the comments or live chat section. I'll bring them up during the show. Okay, let's start with the first question. And this goes for both of you. Either of you can take a shot at it. So how do you guys get exposed to music when you were young?
My mother, when I was 3 years old, decided to get an upright piano, put it in the house because she wants someone to accompany her while she sings the Beatles. She specifically wanted to sing "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and said, "Please learn the piano." I was 3, but I didn't even know anything. So she sent me some classes, learn some chords, learn some chords from my uncles and stuff, and just then we jammed until there was
not the organ.
not the organ was a bit later. But it was the piano first, upright piano. So that got me into music lah. It was my mom's push.
Cool, that's nice. Pot?
We had the radio. Back then there was only I guess one station, so everybody had to listen to that.
Which station?
Ada satu je. Kena Roy and Friend, Carefree, even Ahmad Nawab was big.
Yeah.
Ahmadi Hassan.
Oh my God, this name.
Al-Mizan. We have to listen to whatever the parents are playing. And then when we go to trips, it's always the same 2 cassettes playing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I went through the same thing. You sit in the car, wherever we go, they'll be playing their songs that they like, and then you,
Yep.
you get you get influenced by it, and then you start listening to their stuff. You know, it's a bit different right now. Because this music is digitally available everywhere. But what kind of instruments did you start to play? Your first instrument? I know Izam, you mentioned, was it the piano? Oh,
Yeah, piano. Piano was first, and then I picked up the guitar a little bit, and then my mother wanted me to learn the flute because she liked to hear the sound of a flautist. So I took up the flute. I actually took lessons on the flute. And school brass band, I started playing the trumpet. So I learned the fingerings on how to play it. And then I played the saxophones, the alto and tenor, in the high school brass band. Because I was such a short guy, and I played the tenor saxophone right now. I was a tiny kid. So because I only had to take the solo for Pyramid Getaran Jiwa, so I was playing the tenor, right? Because I was and our fee. I remember our fee, right? The lalang they didn't cut it. So the lalang will get into the saxophone because I was so short. So I playing the saxophone, the lalang was getting into my mouth, and it was quite funny. But yeah, I remember those were the good old days. But the instrument that I really always wanted to learn properly was the bass, which I never learned properly. But
so that's one of the instruments you haven't learned. Haven't learned, or you've not actually
I
picked up.
really gotten good at it lah. I just know how to play a little bit, but not that good.
Can you still blow?
The trumpet or the saxophone. Yeah, I can still do still got the. I haven't played it for a long time though. So
Man.
if you get me right now, I'll do Careless Whisper for you, man. Come on.
What about you, Pot?
I don't have the patience. Never had the patience. I once joined the brass band in ITM just to escape the Ksatria or something, the compulsory army training.
What instrument do you play?
I think one of those jamban stuff. You know, I tried. I blew. I think I started during the fasting month. I tried blowing on it for 1 hour, and then I went back and had diarrhea.
How did that happen?
That was my last music lesson.
Oh man! But then you're good at vocals. That is your.
Oh yeah.
How did you start with that? Were you singing all the time when you were young?
I didn't know that. I heard this one story from Brian McKnight. He grew up among cousins who can actually sing. That's what happened also to my family. Everybody can sing, so I didn't know that singing is so special. So I thought everybody else knows how to sing.
And then he met me.
Everybody can sing. Until I went to boarding school, and then I found out, while singing in the shower, that actually, okay, not everybody can sing. Okay.
We got some people's Studio 2105. This is JD lah, surely. Saying hi everyone. We have let's see, this person, Cynthia Xiao. Wow, Izham.
Yeah, she used to work with us in Media Prima, digital girl.
Wow. Say hello, boss. Yeah, JD says hello to everyone, and this person, Sleeper Bob.
Okay.
That alone is a title of a movie.
I don't know what this guy, his name's Azam Jalil. Hi Azam. Hi Izham. It's pulang really that you went to find the true story what happens to your granddad.
It's the story is true that I went to look for what happened to my granddad.
Cool. Nice.
I'm only gonna tell you that.
Okay, back to some of the questions. So we were talking about musical instruments that you picked up. So what do you think? Is music education really important, and has it sort of like created some sort of character in you that you're proud of?
Okay. Let me try that first, because I actually went through music education.
Yeah.
So I studied in college. I studied music production in college. With my major instrument was the piano. Of course, I learned everything: arrangement. I learned harmony, ear training, all the other musical stuff that you need to learn, conducting even. But what I realized that it depends on what you want to do in music. If you want to be a sessionist, or you want to play an orchestra, or you want to be an arranger, then maybe music education is really, really, really important. But if you want to become a songwriter or an artist, music education is important, but it's not as important as you are opening your ears up to the world and understanding what's a good melody, right? And then be able to make it work. Like for Pot, when he sings me his songs, because he doesn't play instrument like he says, so he will just sing me the melody, and I will be like, how does he come up with these amazing melodies? Because he's not tied up to his fingers and instruments, right? So he can come up with any melody in his head. It doesn't have any rules, right? So there I am struggling to keep up with him, trying to find out what chords or what is the right vibe to go with his melody. Then I realized then, when I was hanging out with everybody, that music education is good for you to get to where you want to go fast. But if you don't know where you're going, then I think that's the most important thing. You need your compass, your soul first, and then music education maybe can get you there faster. But without it, you can still work. I mean, the Beatles, right?
Yeah,
Paul McCartney. I mean, none of them had music education, but they had the ear.
Yeah, listening is really, really important.
So I think you need both ear and education. Both.
You have to listen to a lot of songs if you want to be a songwriter. Macam if you want to be a filmmaker, you have to watch a lot of movies. Think about that's why kadang-kadang you tengok movie macam sampah tu because dia punya tu lah, director tak cukup tengok, tak cukup hours.
Yeah,
So,
talking about,
yeah.
let's say you're not talking about movies.
Okay, for example, I sent my daughter I think 8 years to a music school. I don't know. I don't want to say which system, but after a while, after all this time, baru dia cakap she didn't really like playing piano. Macam what? Just because I think because the grandmother paid for it, and the grandmother is so far in the family tak ada yang musically inclined. So she's like the first one in the family yang belajar music. So every time every family gathering, you know this.
Oh,
Mesti dia main. Okay, come on. Everybody listen. She doesn't like that.
right. Let me tell me about it. Yeah.
So that's the way it's music education, right? To me, we need another system whereby you have to play by the heart, whereby the teacher will ask what you want to do. You want to sing, you want to write songs, and the teacher has to be a professional. Okay, ever been on the field, not just teaching.
Yeah. I think there's the approach that maybe was a bit misaligned here in Malaysia, where you think that music education means you have to get the ABRSM grades, grade 1
Yeah.
to grade 2. And my mom sent me that because all her friends were doing that, right? So okay, send your kid. So I did all this, the classical grades, but at the same time I wanted to have my uncles and my mom and all that wanting to play rock and roll, right? So that was I was doing on my own, and then I was doing the classical thing to just play the classical thing, right? But when I got to Berkeley, and when I went in and I brought my certs with me and said, okay, I've got grade 7 in ABRSM, and those guys who look at me and go like, we don't know what that is.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So for us to know how good you are, let's throw away those papers. There's a room there. There's a piano there. A bassist and a guitarist and a drummer is waiting for you. Sit there, look at the music, play.
Oh man.
I was like that, right? And then I was really humble that it's not the paper. In music, right? It's never the paper. It's what you really study in class. Anybody can get an A because you just answer, right? But do you really understand what you just learned?
So you were in that whole scenario of like, okay, being put in Berkeley. Okay, go and jam with this keyboardist, the piano player and whatever, or bassist. Does anyone in that situation, just say anyone in your shoes, do they have to be talented, or could they be trained to be?
Well, the reason they ask you to audition so that they can place you where you are in your ratings. So they have these things called ratings. They rate you on your reading, rate you on your playing with the band, rate you on how well you know your instrument, and whether you can solo or not, right? And they can do that with few seconds, you already know where you are. I didn't know because I was 18, right? At the time I thought, you think you know stuff, right? But when you go there and I felt I wanted to go back and study carpentry because I said, I cannot. So in the end, I started practicing in the schools about 5-6 hours a day just to get up to that level, that they are. And even then, I realized that I was never gonna get up to that level that I've just been exposed to, right? So in the end, I decided, you know what, I'm never gonna be a jazz cat, but I know enough about music to know what I like and how to make it sound. So then that's when I veered towards music production and engineering. So that's what I took in there. While I still studied the piano and tried to be great, but I knew I was never going to be Chick Corea or Kim Garrett. But I understand, appreciate that. And if I were to record them and produce them, I know what to do.
So you made your major like music production, engineering in that way lah. While still be able to like, okay, you know what, I'm very competent in still playing music.
Can bluff my way lah. But I tell you, if people like Michael Birapan walks in the room, I walk out of the room.
Okay, that one different. Yeah, that one different. Yeah, so I mean, in summary, music education is important depending on where your path.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, correct. Okay, Izham, I want to ask you a question before I move on to Pot. And this is something which I think a lot of people may have asked you. I'm gonna ask you anyway. Did you guys ever know that you'd be creating history when you started to sign all your artists under Positive Tone? Who was greenlighting the signings anyway?
Well, people would like to think it was me, but actually, I'm a man of committee. I'd be like, this act. I said, hey, Paul Moss, working with us.
Yes.
Oh, I've got this group called Innuendo. This is the demo. Listen to it. Paul goes, oh yeah, that's good. And then I pass it to Yogi B, who's also working for us. Yeah, this is good. And then we get demos from Nice Happy Playground, and Paul said, this is good, Izham. And I said, oh yeah, this is good. So once we have that vibe in Positive Tone, I even ask the artist sometimes, like, what do you think about this? And then that's when then I realized, okay, we are on to a good thing. So yeah, let's sign them on. So it was a collective effort, I think, from everybody that's connected with Positive Tone in any way.
But what did you guys do? You guys went on the ground to find people, or did you guys receive demos or whatnot?
Originally, we did a little bit, but to tell you the truth, Yogi B was the one who went to do some jingles for a guy called Kenny.
Okay, yeah.
Working there. Yeah, all right. So Yogi B told Paul, hey, I can rap. And Paul said, okay, rap. So he rap right there on the street. And Paul said, okay, I like you. Let's do a single. And then Yogi B said, oh, by the way, I got this demo by a kid called Radi. It's called OP. Can you listen to it? And Paul listened to it and said, oh my God, this is great. So when I came in and heard all of this, I was like, this is amazing. So once we recorded them, and then we found Innuendo, then we found all those other bands, and then when all this, the underground scene or the independent scene saw that, then they all came knocking on our door and sent us demos. So even though we went to the gigs, we were very lucky because we were the ones crazy enough to do this, that people started giving us stuff. So we had the pick of lot in that sense. But we had to be very, very careful to make sure that we don't oversign or we don't promise too much to many artists, because there's no way we can do everything, right? So,
yeah, because in the business sense at that time, I think it was unheard of to sign with English acts.
Oh yeah.
So it was there was a risk involved, right?
Okay. This is when I was very lucky to have some sort of training in marketing and business management. That wait a minute, because we were at the gigs, right? And we saw people jumping up and down. The power of the people at the gigs were not equal to what was listened to on the radio, right? So there was demand, but maybe the demand was small, but it's still a sizable sort of, to me at the time, type of demand. So we thought we had no excuse but to release OAG. And because we recorded it over a weekend, So it's very super cheap, right? Bentley Music sponsor all the instruments, you know.
Wow.
So it was cheap. It was so we thought there is no risk to doing this. We have to try and see what happens. At that time, I actually thought poetic ammunition is what they were called at the time.
Yeah.
Was to outsell OAG 3-1. I remember that. Oh, I think they're gonna outsell OAG 3-1. When we released both at the same time, OAG outsold them 100-1. Then I realized, oh my god, the market for this indie alternative at the time it was called alternative
Yeah.
is so big. But nobody wants. The industry was not looking at it. It's as if they were ignoring it, or they were choosing not to know about it because it means changing everything that they know is right and true to do something different, right? Because with OAG or those alternative bands, there's no such thing as you got to put them on music, right? There's no such thing. You in fact you don't do that. You
Yeah.
don't go mainstream radio. You just put it out, word of mouth, come up with a good video, and see what happens.
So I guess this one boils down to a lot of marketing, your guerrilla marketing at that time.
Yes, and then we knew that there was a hole in the market, and nobody was serving it. Then suddenly, hey,
Yeah.
people, we have a monopoly sort of on this. Let's really be responsible and get all artists that will serve this market, and just see where we go from there, lah. So we were very, very fortunate to find OAG, Poetic Ammo, we then led to Too Fat, and then of course Innuendo, rounded up the R&B side. So suddenly we had all these three new music genres that came out, which everybody was saying, what is that? What are they doing? They sound so different, right? And then Paul and Illegal and they were doing all this stuff in the studio that made the music sound so top notch at a low cost. So we had this weird music, sort of weird, done at a very top quality. So I thought that was the one that helped us break through.
It's amazing. I mean, the stories we heard, it's all true. I'm going to ask you, Pot, and this is something that you probably have to dig into your memories. You probably remember. How did Innuendo get together, man?
I met an backstory here. Innuendo has I think 11 ex-members.
What?
Like you read just now, 1992, Ravi started the group within his classmates in BI, but they were not so serious. So after SPM, I think he started looking for new members. I heard about Innuendo when I was in ITM, actually, through a mutual friend who was in the group. His name is Nico with a K. Now he's doing films. He actually told me there's this group. I mean, we harmonize. Back then, it's I've never heard of it. I know I love harmonizing, but I know it's such a mystery that how do we do that? How do we form a group? And then suddenly, after a long while, I met this guy. He said that he's in this group, so I decided to check them away. Masa tu I was doing okay. Dekat ITM, I had 3 Dean's List, 3 semesters of Dean's List.
Not bad.
Until I met them. Because in the beginning, forming the group is macam you joining a political party. Like being a survivor. There's a lot of alliances. But still, we didn't know. There was no reference, kan? So after I think members changed in '94. Upon the recommendation of one of our ex-members is actually Anwazin.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my God.
Back then he was still flying, so he did record a demo with us.
Yes.
But then the thing is, he's still flying, so he couldn't commit. So he decided to recommend a friend who's also a staff at MAS also. So he slipped a note on Sam's. Sam was flying back then, but he's about to quit. So macam dia hantar the note and then Sam came for the audition lah. Finally, the thing is, we didn't plan it though. But all of us, when we auditioned, we actually picked the same song. It's actually Stevie Wonder's Lately,
Really?
Jodeci's version. So, itulah somehow.
That was the start lah.
Yeah. After 94 barulah kita itulah. But then the first album only came out 3 years later.
Yeah, because we spent a lot of time trying to find songs. Yeah, we spent
Well, I
a
mean,
lot of time trying to find songs.
they say that you spend half your life writing your first album. After that, you you spend 6 months to write your next. Put in for the rest, you know. Yeah, but you know, it's coming through 11 members. That's a lot, and Anu Zain in there. I didn't know that. I just want to pass through some of the audience's comments. Let's see. Here, let's see Cynthia. Well, Cynthia says hi, boss again. Zelia.
Hi, Julia.
Okay.
Then bagaimana nak mulakan cipta lagu? I think you know, Bob. We'll discuss this in a while after this. Nanti. JD has this question on the popularity of social media and streaming platforms. Is radio still important, relevant for newer up and coming artists to promote their music? That's a question for Izham, right?
I'm not in charge of radio, but radio, he's right. Radio used to be the number one point last time, where you need radio to break you, right? Now I think a lot of new artists are broken or found through YouTube or TikTok or wherever, right? However, because currently right now, radio still has a large footprint for mass market. So my feeling is you can break on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but you still need radio to kind of make it wider and bigger and stuff. So you need both at this current point of time.
Makes sense. And next question, Pop Shavit dan Innuendo. Didn't we talk about it just? What are we going to call the band?
Yes. We're going to call them Pot Shavit.
It's natural, I guess. We've never collaborated because you know what? I'll just say it out to everyone. We might have shows together, but we've never formally been introduced to each other. You know, this is the first time I'm meeting Pot, and it's like online in 2020. It's strange. You know, we could have met somewhere in AIM or something, but you know, we didn't. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, at least I still get to meet you.
You guys recorded also in Kelana Jaya, right?
Kita recorded, Kelana Jaya. I think we recorded Jump, the first single.
Yeah,
Jump was recorded there.
We started in Pop Shavit. Macam we use the same studio, but somehow we don't meet, right?
We bumped into Ruddy. Because I remember that when we were recording Jump, the first single, Ruddy was there and he was listening to and he was saying, "Oh, this is cool, man, this is cool. Yeah." That's Ruddy lah.
Very good impression.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Ruddy. So yeah, I mean that Kelana Jaya place memang history lah. Okay, what's this? JD again. Boleh Ahmad Izham Omar compose dan produce? Of course lah.
Right now. Panic. No. Not as good at production as you lah, JD. JD does very good production classes.
Yeah, he's quite
good. I compose and produce, but I like to work with people like Pot and everybody else.
Yeah. Nini Yusof. Izham, when are you going to launch an all-girls dance group?
Ini soalan sponsor.
Asal dia ada group ke?
Ini, if you are going to join this group, I shall produce it. Nini Yusof is in Media Prima. That's why I just do that.
Zaida Ismail says, "Wow, welcome to the show." And Cynthia again saying, "Reunion concert for OAG, Innuendo, and Pop Shavit." You know, that would be nice lah. Kan Izham?
Yeah. When the MCO lives, let's look at that. That'd be fun. I mean, I saw OAG perform the other day. I mean, I saw Radhi perform. In fact, I performed with him last year in in Ruang, I think it's Subang. I played the. Can you believe it? I played piano for 60s TV. It was me and
What?
him. It was the weirdest thing. But he can draw. He can draw the fans. He's got a magnetic personality.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the X factor that everybody's always looking for in new artists.
Exactly.
That's DJ Fast.
Is this DJ Fast kan? Oh, VI. VI. Hi, DJ Fast. He's coming on next week actually. On the show. JD again. Okay. Hello, senior semua. Be yet wiser. Yeah.
Like
DJ Fast. Okay, we'll continue with the comments in a while more. It goes on and on. Okay, I'll just stick to Pot. I just want to ask you this one. Let me see, what's this question? What was your greatest memory of the group, of being in the group?
My greatest memory would be a non-memory of it.
Let me think about that. A non-memory of it. Explain.
We had a concert 1998, concert in London.
Oh my God.
Right. It was too stressful, really stressful, that when we arrived there, I was sick. I think most of us are sick. So on the day, I think on the day before, I lost my voice for the first time ever in my life. I lost my voice. So imagine everybody's giving me medicine. Okay, you take this, you take 2 of this, take this. I just take everything. I just want to be there. So I forgot about the day of the concert until my last memory that I remember is while signing the poster.
Oh,
at the end of the show.
You mean you didn't remember what happened during the show?
They really disliked that concert because they were not at their best, right? But about 2 years ago, I met someone who was there, and someone who was there, and he actually is my neighbor here, and he was saying, that, you know what, that was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. I'm like, really? Okay. So you know what? It's not a good thing, but what's their perception? They get to see Innuendo in front of them, right? You guys appeared under the stage and
wow.
Yeah. Now it is like you said.
Now Hippodrome is a casino and a bar for gays.
Okay. Hippodrome. Okay, back to Izham. Do you see the same kind of vibrancy now in the music scene?
Okay, vibrancy in terms of new artists is always there because in terms of coming up with new stuff, Malaysians are pretty solid, pretty soulful, right? The problem actually has been the vibrancy of bringing these new artists onto an assembly line that can generate new hit after new hit, which sounds new and different, right? So you need strong A&Rs, strong managers. I call them the polishers. You need a polisher. You need like a Mike Burney or like somebody who go like, okay, that group, if you just did this, and try again. You know what I mean? You don't have that.
We don't have enough of these people?
We don't have enough A&Rs and managers and people who can see something, see like 6 months ahead what they're going to be, and then just help them, shape them there. You know what I mean? So that's the things that's missing, and that's why we had so many what you call sporadic hits or sporadic innovative hits, right? Meaning that suddenly there's a new sound, and suddenly there's a new sound. It's not like constantly there's a new sound. This is because it's been like throwing mud at the wall and then seeing what's sticking, which is what I guess the industry is doing right now because they have no idea how to nurture new artists. So I think if we need more professionals like that, people who are really passionate about music and not necessarily an artist, but knows how to work an artist and knows how to work young artists. You know, people in their 16, 17, late teenagers, late teens, early 20s, work with these guys and shape them to become the next big thing with a new sound. You know, that's the thing that's missing. The vibrancy that's missing is in that part.
But to me, we need more hearts. You know, back then it was all about hearts. You know, I can feel it. I cannot explain it, but I can feel it. But nowadays it's more data, the figures, following. Right.
Is this something South whatever Korea is doing? Is this what you call polishing from years back? And I guess they're still doing it now.
Well, that's a different kind of music industry in Korea. I mean, it's very packaged and polished, right?
Yeah.
That's them. And there's always, before Korea there was always Taiwan, you know,
Mhm.
Mando pop and Mando pop on Taiwan, and then you got the Koreans taking it to a different level. But it is I mean, it's good. It's good. It has vibrancy, and with new artists like Blackpink. I know Blackpink.
Okay.
But at
Yeah.
least they are not mimicking what was
You like that?
in just packaging. It's not just package anymore. But it started out as package, right? And then it's
Yeah.
now more into the, okay, this music is actually really good. So we need on our side to match the Koreans in terms of packaging is a bit tough, because over there, as you know, they have plastic surgery on a normal basis, right? So we don't do that as a culture here. So we don't have, we're not as dare I say it, as sexy as that, because they are able in their culture to be very sexy, and that is the thing that drives that particular music industry. For Malaysians, as because we can't be too sexy, is we cannot compare ourselves with the Koreans. We have to be in a different form of life, we have a different way of moving, right? So for us in Malaysia, it's more music based. It's more what the song about. It's more the heart, like what Poe is saying, right? Whereas Koreans and Mando pop and Canto pop was all about the visuals first, right? So but that's okay because they appeal to their target audience. Target audience here is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
confusing you.
Yeah. So which means when you're talking about there's not enough your A&R people here. That means right now, if we do have, if we want to raise up this whole the vibrancy of the scene, we need to train A&R people, right?
We
But
need
where do they get where can they get this training? Is it something that you're born with that you can see? Okay, this guy is.
It's not really, because in the end you'll be the bosses will come back to you and say, what's the figure like? You
Yep.
can't say I can feel it anymore. You cannot say that anymore.
you need those small labels that are there to take the risk. You need those guys because
Like
they
PT lah. Yeah.
because if it's the big majors, they would usually go by the numbers. But the small and major labels, they have nothing to lose, so they would
Nothing
take
to
the
lose. Exactly.
Yeah, the issue with the label secretaries right now, they don't do it. They do it like just because a lot of them just because they want to create music that they like. They still actually have to figure out whether what they're doing is something that people like. And if you feel that people doesn't like, that's okay. That's just them. Then they have to understand this is the size of my business. But if they happen to have music that they know people would like, and they know that the majors are looking at it, then this is when they have really pushed it in a very professional way. So in that sense, but I wish there was a lot of things that's happening right now that's not didn't happen that time when I started the label. You know, last time we were out on our own, and I really had to what I call menapak lah. Had to talk to Tony Fernandez and Sandy Montero and Darren Choi helped me a lot in terms of making me understand. But last time there was no YouTube, there was no Spotify, there was nothing to give me any indication of what we're doing. It's all gut. It was all gut. So the labels were all gut. All of them had guts. You know, like you feel you want to do it, let's do it. You know what I mean? So that, like what is saying, is kind of missing right now because everybody's got data. How many Instagram followers does he have? You know, how many views did that video get? You know, and somehow that's an indicator of success currently, even though, as you know, social media doesn't pay a lot to musicians yet. So I think that's a bit of a different right now lah. But I know some major labels are trying to reach out back to the indie scene. For example, like Universal has something called Spin Up.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can Spin Up is like this thing where they will just promote you to all the digital players. At the same time, all the universal execs will look at it and see whether you're moving up
Mhm.
the peanut family or not. So I mean, that kind of thing is good. I wish we had that when I was younger. But that being said, like Pot said, if your heart and your passion is not in your music, and if your heart and passion is not promoting your artist, you know, if your heart and passion is not making sure that you're trying to do something crazy that's gonna change the world, if you don't have that let's change the world thing in your head, right? Don't get into music. Because music is about either you're gonna hit it high or you're gonna go down in blazing flames, right? You cannot do if by the I always tell the music label executives this is by the age of 30, if you're not either a millionaire or you're broke, that means you're not trying. You will
Mm.
save all this while. You know, if you're playing safe, you will always be this playing safe person, right? And when the industry goes south, nobody needs you because you're a safe guy. They need a crazy dude like him.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned just now that tech has a lot to play with how music has evolved, how we look at new artists. We look through YouTube, we look through TikTok, and anyone now can be the next big thing. It's just that you got to look for it, right? So the question here is, can anyone with a laptop be the next big thing in music?
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, Billie Eilish, right?
Yes.
Music with the brother in the bedroom. And Pot, I was having dinner with Pot just now, and he was telling me this thing which made me think, you know, Pot always does this, always makes me think. He said that, you know, the melodies right now they have, the new pop songs, they're very, what do you call it? They're repetitive, right? And they're short.
Yes.
Not repetitive cycles of melodies. Verse is a very different thing than the pre-chorus, which is very different. It doesn't link together. It's not like a Celine Dion song. It doesn't link, right? It's by itself, right? And he was telling me it's because these guys, they have short attention spans. They have these Insta stories. They have less 5 seconds.
And they are song texters, not songwriters.
So
You're right.
Yes, when you text, you're lazy, right? To write new words, big words. You just want simple
true.
words. Times three, times
So what he's saying is that that's the audience that we have right now, and that's the creators that we have right now. So like it or not, that's the industry that we have right now. Maybe it will shift into a different thing later on. That's later on. So if you want to be a success right now, then you have to work with that and figure out how to make that work and how to move that somewhere. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I want to ask you, what was the composing process? How did you guys compose your music back then?
Wow, it was stressful. We always have homework, right? Whereby we when we have some loops, everybody will share. Okay, by this time next week, come with new melodies. Okay, everybody, even Izham had his.
Oh my God! Don't you?
Yes, it's true. So
I wrote some pretty horrible songs.
Some songs from the same loop. We got, I think, 2 songs from the same loop. But the most stressful part is the presentation day, the judgment day, where we present to each other, man.
The thing is, we tried to look for songs from other composers.
Yeah, we did.
But because what they were trying to do was so new and different, nobody could do it. I mean, they could, but they were not into that scene. They were trying to do R&B soul, which is Jodeci meets Blackstreet meets a bit of Boyz II Men. You know what I mean? It's not the pop R&B, which is a lot of people are doing. It's more like R&B.
Yeah.
So hit it hard, hit it right here. So in the end, we went to ourselves and wrote ourselves. You know, it took such a long time to make the album. We went through so many different wrong paths, U-turns, and all that.
Were there a lot of arguments?
Not so.
More like humiliation. I don't mind. I presented a song to them and they all looked at me. And then Remy said this legendary word. Izham, I think you can write better than this.
Ui, brutal loh.
It's a running joke until now. The title of the song will always, against him.
Yeah, the title of the song is, I don't care. The title of the song is I Want to Be That Man to You. Right? And I tried to write it like in this like kind of Blue Hill troop style of writing, like, but I failed miserably because that's not who I am. I was just trying to be something that and they saw right through it.
But I also had my I Want to Be That Man to You. It's called No One Could Know.
Oh, but it's a nice song. I love No One Could Know.
It rhymes too often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going back to some of the questions the audience have asked. Let's see. Okay, banyak ni. Wish banyak gila. Okay,
But,
okay,
but
first JD.
can I just share a new
Sure.
a new process of mine?
Yes.
You have to be around water.
Yeah, he's
Right.
Why is that?
Yeah, because that's what God did. The first thing, He created water first. So as in sama macam Ilham, you have to be around water. Because I tried this before. I locked myself in a friend's house for the weekend in apartment. Nothing happened. Until I went on a discourse on Tasik Kenyir, big Tasik Kenyir. Have you been there? Tasik Kenyir is actually Kenyang in Kelantan. In Kelantanese, it's Kenyang, so Kenyir. So it's really big,
Kenyir.
5 times the size of Singapore. And when you see that whole body of water, you cannot explain it. You just float, and then when you come back, you just book a studio and it will come.
True. And I agree with you. I agree because I think one of our albums, we went to Bali. We were there for the whole week. We were just we set up the studios in Bali and we just decided to write. And it was really that, you know, that morning view kind of thing, huh? And you started to it just flow. And you're right, it's by the sea, right? So it just flows. You are right. I don't know what is it, but it just inspires you to come up with something. I guess it's just beautiful to see, and then you're at a very at ease kind of state, and then you start to write things very naturally. Yeah, I agree with you.
I do my best thinking, whether it's writing songs or ideas or even writing speeches or making up jokes, right? In the shower.
Yeah. So does Ramli, actually. He spends a lot of time in the shower.
Because nothing disturbs you. The air, the water is flowing over your ears and all that, so nothing is in your way, right? So your mind just goes free and just do whatever you want.
And it's your own private time. Nobody can disturb you. You're in the shower, right?
Yeah.
And see, wow.
And then the water is pretty high.
More price.
Nini says, not new song from Innuendo. Okay, so that one I'll leave it to Pot. Yeah, me too. You need except Anwar Zain. Oh my God, true. Shukri says, can I ask whose idea is to sing Belayan Jiwa with the Innuendo star? May I say that guy is genius?
The story is, he came up to me one day and said, hey, I like this song from Carefree called Belayan Jiwa. And I said, yeah, I like that song too, because it was one of my favorite songs growing up as well. And then he said, hey, wait, can we do it in the guitar form? Like just acoustic guitar and we harmonize. I'm like, that sounds like a really cool idea. So I started doing the arrangements on the keyboard. So actually it's a keyboard, not a guitar.
So Now I know.
And then they came up with such amazing harmonies for the song. And I thought I had to work with them with the harmonies. No, they actually did the harmonies themselves. So it was a very good collaboration and you know, you hear the end product.
Did you guys talk to Carefree about it before doing it?
Yes, we did.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't.
We invited them to the launch.
That's right. Yeah. But they did a boo-boo. Come on, Pot. Tell us about your boo-boo about the song.
But I did explain to them finally last year, before the COVID era. First line, I screwed up the first line.
Really?
Yeah, the original part is actually seindah tiada lagi yang ku ingatkan. Instead, I don't know why I sang tiada lagi kau ku ingatkan. Damn it.
Oh.
So now everybody thinks that's the original.
Totally changed the meaning of the song.
The first line.
The original song was sang by Simon or was it JJ? Simon, right?
Yeah,
Simon.
He wrote the song too.
Cool, that's cool. I mean, it's a great song, you know, and with you guys on it, amazing. When that guitar hits, ding ding ding. Well, now I know it's your board, it's your keyboards. Some reason I knew.
later we met Simon. Simon was telling me they had a gig in a hotel in I think PJ, and then at 3 o'clock the idea came to him at 3 o'clock in the morning. So bila bangun terus dia call Nana next room. Nana, you have to translate this song for me because the originally is in English.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Nana Wanchi was the one who translated it. Beautiful, simple. The best lyrics are simple lyrics.
Muhammad Nordin Wancik, right?
Yeah, Muhammad Nordin Wanchi.
Okay. Izham, when are you going to do a K-pop version of Pulang? I don't know. Asnul Hadi ni.
I know where you live, Asnul. How do you even do that?
Azwa. Still remember Pop Shawi sitting on stairs? Yes, you do.
Azwa used to work for us at hospital. Very, very dedicated person. And he joined the
Yeah. What did Nini say? Hold on. I will get you. Sekejap, eh.
kid money.
Ni the money just to give me a girl band with Pop Shawi and Innuendo.
Hey.
Okay. Oh no, Izham, feminine versi, positive tone. Apa lagi? Okay, ni. Selepas lagu Pot sangat mesra, layar perak melalui telinga hamba. Memang rancang begitu ke masa cipta lagu.
Your songwriting code.
Okay. This one was from Kennedy Michael. Michael Kennedy.
Hi, Kennedy. Hello. Hello. He lives nearby.
Yeah. Okay, so he's pretty long. They did this amazing rendition of Silent Night. Turned out Taj lived in my neighborhood. Then shortly after, we all went on tour for the Coca-Cola Youth World Cup. The whole PT roster, it was insane. Yeah.
Kennedy takes care of the river near my house. Thank you, Kennedy. He does.
Yes. I always feel that there was so much more that was in all the artists, so much more potential. Cool, man. Okay, back to more questions. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about a bit tech just now. Whatever it is, when you compose a song at this moment now, you don't really require tech. You could just be writing songs in the toilet, in the bathroom, in your bedroom. But the tools that require it is at the palm of your fingertips. You have all your DAWs, you have your Logics, you have your instruments plugged in here. You can just start to record. And those were the days when we had to record to tape. My God, because we recorded albums with the first two was with Greg Henderson, and we had the fortunate chance to record on tape. It was tough. It was tough. So now it's easier, right? I record my drums now. I have an electric drums here. I record it through Logic, and I use a VST that triggers the sound.
Right.
I can be up in 5 minutes, and I can come up with a song in 3 minutes. Now, how is this? Is this going to be creating a lot more artists who take shortcuts? You know, don't like to say shortcuts, but it's easier for us to create it now. But the thinking process of creating the songs, an album, is this a shortcut that we want to not take, or is it okay?
Well, okay. For my thinking is, all these tools are around. And I mean, you press one key, and the whole orchestra plays, right?
Yeah.
And then like, hey, I'm a composer, right? Okay, now that means that you can basically write 2 songs, 3 songs a day, based on templates, the samples, and all the things that you have right now. You can. Yeah, good songs or not, that's another thing, right? But the fact that you have all these things and you have all these sounds and you know how to tweak and you know how to produce stuff and all that, you can make a lot of songs easily on your own. Whereas last time it was more of a collaborative effort, right? But I think this is the new way. This is the new style. This is how people are writing music nowadays. You can't You can't say, oh, it's wrong. It's just that's their audience and that's who listens to them. It's whether or not you make this thing new, or you're just gonna be templated. Are you just gonna do a cookie cutter factory style, or you're gonna take factory sound from the DAW, from the Cubase, from Logic, and you're gonna do something to it and just do, make it totally new. Remember, the Beatles recorded Sgt. Pepper on 2 4-track machines. 2 4-track machines. But they kept bouncing and bouncing. So they didn't do just 8 tracks of music. They did hundreds of tracks, but they kept bouncing and changing and bouncing. So they were innovating on the equipment. So if you are taking your equipment and just playing the factory presets and the loop, and you think you got a nice loop, and then you sing on top of the loop and say, hey, I'm an artist. You're not an artist. You are a copy and paster. You know what I mean? You come up with a melody on top of this thing. I'm just gonna sing, and then just okay, that's it. No, you gotta do something that music that even can surprise the manufacturer of that VST. And go, look what he did with our stuff. He totally changed it. Then that makes you a true creative artist. The reason why you need to be a true creative artist is so that you can last longer in music. Don't get me wrong. Some people do copy and paste and sing on it and get a big hit, right? But usually those don't last for very long. 1, 2 hits and then that's it, because you can't be copy and pasting everything, or you're gonna sound the same all the time. But if you are a creator, you know how to mold your sound, you know how to do special effects, or I don't know, work your chords, work your arrangements, then you have some depth, right? And with that depth, you can actually become a longer lasting artist.
Yeah.
That's right.
So the statement here is like, tech has made it easier for us to create music, but also made it harder for artists to make a name for themselves, because everyone's has the tools, right?
I remember one music production lecturer I had, and this was in the early 90s, right? He said, last time was less tech, more creativity. Now, more tech, less creativity, because it's already ready for you, right? So you don't have to sweat so much. You want a loop, you got the loop. You don't have to actually craft the loop, right? You craft a really good loop. So, and what he said in the early 90s still stands true today, right? Last time, tech, so we had to be more creative. Now, more tech, so we like, okay lah, we did the music already lah, let's go and have the tarik. Then you lose that sense of passion and drive. I don't know, what do you think?
What's the story behind the song? If you're a copy paster, you have no story. When interviewed, you'll have nothing to say, right? Even Sai had a story to it. How he became a billion viewer.
He had a reason why he did that.
But I not tanya you. I mean, looking at your albums and then look at the tech now. Do you want to go back and like, hey, let's re-record this song using the tech we have now? Would you do that?
No, a song is an archive of your youth. You cannot recreate it. The timeline. We cannot. No matter how much you love the cartridge or the cassette. The cassette is making it come back. The cartridge, no.
The line was that it was recorded at that time when those guys who were of that age and I was of a certain age, the studio had a certain amount of temperature. It was the time of the month. The humidity was just so.
We were hungry.
Paul Moss was just like that. No way you can go back and recreate it. You don't recreate your magic. You just don't. You just like, thank you for the legacy. Now let's try to do new magic.
Correct. I agree with that so much. Since you guys in the studio, are you guys? I mean, Izham, are you in front of the keyboards?
Yeah.
Wow. So which means you're ready to belt out a song for us?
I don't belt. I don't sing.
Maybe we should just release that man. 2020.
So you guys want to try something or what?
What, you want to do something for it?
What, you want to do something?
All right, song.
You could show how you record a jingle.
Recording is a bit boring process, but You want to do REO Speedwagon.
Woo! I can't fight this feeling any longer. Yeah, I'm still afraid to let it show. Started out as friendship, has grown stronger. I only wish I had the strength to let it go. I tell myself that I can't go out forever. I say there is no reasons for my fear. Guess I feel so secure we're together. You give my life direction. You make everything so clear. Even as I wander, I'm taking you inside. You're a candle in the window, the cold of this night. I'm getting closer than I ever thought I might. But I can't fight this feeling. I've forgotten what I started. It's time to bring the ship into the shore and throw me yours forever. Cause I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. And if I had to call upon you, come crashing through your door, baby, I can't fight this feeling. Did you hear it?
Wow, that's amazing. Woo!
That was the number one song in 1986.
That was great, guys. I mean, I think we needed some of this, just to reminisce, And I think a lot of people on the chat are just like, nostalgic and semua. Let me see what it Azwan. Jom nyanyi ramai chorusnya. Cynthia says nice.
Now we know. Audience age.
Iman Mariam, lovely. JD says great. Intan Kartini, this love. Juju Jones, great. Songs are soundtrack of your life by Cynthia.
That's right. True.
Pot and Boss may have to be around water. I have just a place for you. Yeah, and let's see. Kennedy Michaels, there was a period in the early 90s where the underground indie music scene was building up. I think that helped a lot of kids find the courage to head down the path of making their own music and performing live in small underground gigs. Yeah, it's true. We were one of them, although we didn't actually perform a lot of underground gigs until later. It's a little bit different. But I mean, that's the question I wanted to ask you as well. Izham, when we were under EMI, we were signed up even without having any prior performance background. We did not perform anywhere, but we had I guess a bunch of musicians that wanted to do a certain genre of song, and I remember we were in the SS2 Jam Studio, and was it Paul Moss? Paul Moss came in with Pietro Felix.
Yep.
Came in, and they said, "All right, let's do it. Let's go record." Yeah, but we were so I remember we were so nervous because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were just playing music, and here you are saying, okay, let's go record your first single. And then we had to start to think, okay, we got to get a DJ. Then we got DJ Uno,
Yeah.
who was the sessionist for the first single, who later became a permanent member till today. So, I mean, that was really a gamble on EMI side. No, we were fortunate to say, all right, we got signed up, but what's in it for us in the future? What do you guys have planned for us? We don't know, but I'm glad to say that glad you guys took the gamble and we're here. So the question is now: are people taking that sort of risks here now in Malaysia? Pot, back to your question again. Are the people taking this risk? You have that gut feel, okay, we can make this work.
It
But we don't know. But we're just going to make it work.
It was a risk, right? But let me tell you, I remember thinking about it. It wasn't as risky as Innuendo, because Innuendo had no precedent. You know what I mean? There was zero precedent. There was nothing R&B before this. Like closest was Sheila Majid, which is more jazzy pop, right?
Yeah.
So they were the only thing we had going for them was we knew that there was a crowd that loved hardcore R&B, but how do we translate it to the mass market crowd, right? But in your case, in Pop Shabit, right, we had Poetic Ammo.
Yeah.
We had Too Fat. And then we had people, we know that the industry is buzzing with the sounds of Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit. Even the Philippines came out with Slapshot. You guys.
Slapshot, yeah. Yep.
And then we knew that this was a natural progression. It was unfortunate that there was nothing happening in the scene at the time to support it, right? Because the scene, I think, was concentrating on either you're very indie or you're very hip hop or you're very R&B, but nothing was crossing over really. So this was the first crossover. So we thought if we do this right, again it's either we're gonna hit it big or we're gonna go down in blazing flames, right? Either way, it's gonna be fun. So that is the thing that's missing currently, I guess, from a lot of the labels who don't know whether they should take the risk or not. So sometimes they don't know, and if the costs are low enough, they will take the risk. But usually the cost won't be low, because when we recorded the album, we had to make it on a certain level. We can't just make, I'm going to make a lo-fi album. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Yep.
And your first impression was so strong that we jumped with the cartoon drawing on the thing.
Point do that.
Yeah, all of that had a certain enigma to it. Like, what is this, man? Let's move the industry with this. So that's why to us it felt like the right move. And even though we didn't know whether you had fans or not, we just let's do it. But I was really shaking when we were releasing Innuendo, because there was zero precedence before that. We had no idea.
So we saying,
but it's so 100 to 1 more than Poetic Ammo you mentioned, right? There was like
OAG, no, that was OAG.
OAG, that was OAG, yeah. But I think this gamble, well, you were lucky you lived in a time where you took those gambles and it paid off. You saw the gap. You saw the gap and said, okay, it's not been done before. We're going to try it anyway. Because if we don't try, no one's going to do it.
The point is now, do executives now in the music label industry see any gaps or not? Or do you just go like, I want to make another one just like that so I can get another 60 million hits? Yes, you can have that. But how are you driving the music industry forward? If you can find the gaps and you can fill the gaps and you can move the industry forward, you will always constantly be reinventing yourself and the music industry, and you'll be assured of long-term revenues coming in. And that's the thing that I guess is missing a little bit.
Well, I kind of understand. In the end, if you have a hit song, if you have a new group yang tak ada follower langsung, but they have kick-ass songs, in the end, when you present to the radios, you need the numbers still, right?
True. You still need the numbers somehow.
Really.
Too Fat, right? They did their gigs first. When they did gigs, I remember I went to see the gigs. They filled up Sunway Amphitheatre in Sunway Lagoon. They filled it up. So when we went to see them, it was we knew that they were going to be a hit. It was not like is this right? We knew that this was the next level of hip hop, the next new sound, and we knew it had to take that. Even then, the industry, old folkies were still saying, "No, this is a fad. This is a fad." I told some of the guys, "You go to KLCC and see those guys at the fountain and doing their hats like that, right? This is." And then I remember I was saying and then the guys were the sales guys at EMI said, "No, that's just a fad. Don't worry." I said, "No, you're missing
No,
it."
it's too fat, not the fat.
I thought. So yeah, you gotta get executives out there and listening to new music and going like, I feel it here. I feel it. I was very lucky. I had OAG, Boring Ammo, Tupac, and Ralphage, BE, Innuendo to go around and say, I think Pop Shove It will work. And then suddenly people will listen. Hey, you might know. Actually, I don't know what I was talking about. I just I don't know. I believe this program will work. Yeah, he did. No, you know what? You use your track record to push something, and if you sound confident enough, people will listen. But you can't make too many mistakes that people will stop listening.
So in your career, both your careers, I asked Pot first. Then same question to Izham. What is the most trouble you gotten yourself into?
Man.
Well, either during the when you were in a group, or when you're doing business now.
Yeah. The thing.
Trouble is cobaan lah, actually.
Yeah.
When God bestowed the cobaan to you, He knows that you can take it, you can handle it. So to me, it's not really such trouble. After a while lah, when you think about it, maybe during the first time, so it's not even, it's forgettable, you know.
Dia dugaan.
Yeah, and so that's it lah. Everybody's gonna, because I've seen a wedding. Why I know, so yang every cubaan itu memang it's chosen for certain people. I was at a wedding whereby we were flown. We were a selawat group, Maulid. We were flown from Semenanjung to Sabah to this wedding to selawat, just to selawat. It's a big wedding, big wedding. But during school holidays, so they didn't get in Sabah. In Sabah,
Yeah.
there's only one big place, Sutra Harbour Hotel.
Yes.
To have his wedding. So during school holidays, there are the 3 je ballroom. So the main 2 ballrooms dah habis. So they decided to use the outdoor punya ballroom lah, so to speak. Tapi masa tu musim hujan. So imagine when we came back for the real show, there was nothing, only water, nothing. So they had to go to the small restaurant, small Chinese restaurant in the hotel, and wait for the customers to leave. Imagine that if that happens to us. Tapi dia orang boleh relax lagi. The parents boleh relax, senyum lagi. Man, if it was my parents, dia orang dah pengsan lama dah.
Itulah.
Some the VIP, dia ni pun is the chief minister, man. So that's how I know every dugaan is meant for each person. So memang, if you get it, which means it's meant for you. It's not going to break you. Trust me.
Nice one. Izham?
For me, it's a bit different because I always think that once you find yourself, okay, if you feel uncomfortable or something, you feel like you're gonna get in trouble, you feel like, oh, what am I doing? Then actually you're pushing the envelope. That, to me, that's what you're doing. You're really pushing the envelope because you're not in a place where you are comfortable with. Yeah, you know. I find myself throughout the years in music and also when I was doing TV and even in films now, that when I find myself thinking that okay lah, tak apa lah, jalan lah, that's when I feel like I settled. And that's been happening too many times nowadays that I keep telling myself, please tell me what else I can do to help you because nobody wants to talk to me. Because I want to read stuff. I wanna I want to move the company in a certain direction, but sometimes you're stuck and you go like, you know what, okay lah, never mind lah, why do we risk ourselves? This way is always working, right? And then you just keep doing it that way lah. And then suddenly you find yourself thinking, oh shit, I just turned into the guy that I never wanted to be. I just turned into the establishment, you know what I mean? Then I find myself, I'm in trouble. Then I get sweaty. Then I start poking around and seeing what else I can do to do something new, just for the sake of pushing the envelope. So for me, I always get into trouble when I find myself settling. And that I'm just, unfortunately, that's happening a lot on this work. So I need people like this to push me and say, hey, what kind of thing are you doing now? Please stop.
Cool. There's this question. I think it's directed at Pot. Is the song Tidur Sayang from Brand Innuendo been remade again for Siti Nurhaliza? Or at least she had her own version rendition of it?
Yeah, it's actually a demo sent to Siti actually. Masa tu she was single. She was the number one most sought after anak dara lah masa tu. She was at so it's a dodo song tau. Tidur Sayang. Cuma the people around her was they didn't get why would somebody single without a child would want to sing a dodo song, right? To me, that would be the most sexiest Nusantara lah. If you can have a anak dara, most sought after anak dara, sing a dodo song, man. But they didn't see it right. I wanted to work with her anyway, so I changed the lyrics somehow to make it like she's singing to her fan, to dodoi her fan lah. So that's why the original song is Tidur Sayang, whereby her version is Kau Ku Sayang. In fact,
it was the funniest thing because SRC asked me to produce a song for Siti. And I know that we had this song where Put wrote the song, right? So I said, Put, I think your song will be perfect for Siti. The two of us went there. I think we were more in awe of her because she practiced, she rehearsed a lot. And when she sang, it was just perfect. We didn't know what else to do. And then in the end of the session, Put said, boleh tak ambil gambar? Fangirling throughout the studio. Like, just like,
was it during the fasting month though? Fasting month.
yeah, man.
One session.
Jesus, it was just amazing.
She is a different level, you know. Well, I had so much great fun talking to you guys. There's so many comments on screen here. Even Az Ahmad here. Hi Az. That single cover was so cool. We have Azwan, Nazli saying, yeah, still have those stickers. Remember going around passing that. I think it's talking about the Pop Share with stickers. Wow, Pot Amir in the house. Yes, it's in the house. And we want more, that kind of thing, you know. So they're asking for your encore. But thank you so much.
He's back.
Before I go, I want to ask you, do you guys want to perform one more song? Or is it like, I don't have any more songs to play?
Oh, okay. So, when you do the Tidur Sayang?
Tidur Sayang, the Put Amir version.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Intro. That's the thing. That's not the key.
Oh, it's not the key.
No. I'm not used to the key. Okay. Wow.
Oh, it's too low. Wait. Change the key then.
Okay. Tahu.
Really?
Yeah.
This is what you call we don't have rehearsals.
This is the best thing.
Boleh. Terpaku jemari halusmu menggenggam rambutku, sinaran matamu menusuk di kalbu, tak mungkin ku lupakan sebegini pengalaman. Lalu diri pun berkata sekarang bila besar nanti biar tersendiri, benar pada janji jangan lupakan ilahi. Petang tiba bahagia tak mungkin sendirian, berpun sempat rindu ayah dibuai dalam mimpi tidur. Tidurlah.
Cantik lah. Cantik. Huish.
Sorry about the screw up.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, no rehearse, but just play. Go with the flow. Things will come. Right? I mean, that's how, I don't know, that's how I was trained. That's how you guys were trained, I guess. Well, Izham was trained differently. He was well trained. But I mean, thanks so much. I mean, before we close up this session, I would like to really thank you, Izham. You really took the time and effort to share a lot of your experiences, your wisdom, and I think I learned a lot. And I hope that future A&R people who are or watching this in the future on replay, hopefully they can pick this up from Izham on what we really need and move on. And Pot, thank you very much. You're still amazing singer. I'm just blown away. I think you have a lot to offer. Please keep doing what you're doing. It's just amazing. I hope there's a lot of added value that the audience were able to take home from you guys. I also would like to urge the audiences out there to subscribe to the channel, Facebook, as we will have regular talks like this. Today's such a bonus because you get 2 songs. Amazing. So this session will be put up on our channels for people to view on replay. Please do share with your colleagues as we continue to expand the Music Mountain platform. We'll update you guys on our latest development. Till then, I'm Rudy, that's Izham, and that's Pot. Amazing people. I'd like to say good night. We're signing off. Have a great week ahead. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Izham. Thanks, Pot.
Thanks.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Bye.